But that wasn't the case at all. I mean, his attunement process appears to be totally new and come out of the sky. So that's interesting in and of itself. I still think it's from the spirit. It's from the spirit. So that puzzled me, because I really didn't think that was the case. I mean, there are a zillion attunement procedures on here.
I was attuned first, second, and I got the third degree master symbol from my teachers who were studied with William Rand. And their process of going through the master program was a 6-month apprenticeship that they had to meditate on before they could tell me what it would be. But they're still not sure what it will be because they're not done meditating yet. But well, I was really confused about exactly, what did I have to prove myself worthy? Did they have to meditate and find out that yes, I could. I don't know what the scoop was with them, but they had gone to class with William Rand, and they, so I've got the daikuyo and nothing beyond it. I mean, I don't have the ability to pass it on to someone else, which is, I guess, I'm going to learn during the apprenticeship program.
And tomorrow.
Yeah, and tomorrow.
So anyway, this puzzles me with taking a class where you're allegedly supposed to be able to go out and teach. So I tracked Arthur down Florida. And Arthur winds up being this just amazingly fascinating guy, some kind of molecular biologist or something cool like that. And doing all kinds of research on his little healing master vibrational symbol, the high frequency unit thing with the cure of AIDS, and he's people, he'll tell you one thing one time and something different another time, and I don't think there's any malice there, and I certainly don't think that he's in it for the buck. And I say this because anybody can send a picture to him of someone with an AIDS condition, and he will put it on his master high frequency units, which he's apparently had a great deal of success with, and is actually having university studies and all of this right now, for free. I mean, he'll do that for free. He's not telling you that you have to buy one of these things for so many hundreds of dollars or whatever. So that goes a long way in supporting his character to me. And there's a lot of people that won't just go out of their way and give you something like that for free. He'll do a lot. I mean, he sent me a huge stack of stuff, completely on the house. Talk to you for long periods of time. I mean, whatever you want. So I have no question in my mind that he's a true believer. That he's not in and out for the buck or whatever. So that made me wonder, and so I asked him about, I said, well, what about this Usui-Tibetan stuff? I mean, the Tibetan stuff was supposed to have come from Rolf Jensen, And he said, oh, well, not that long ago, in the 70s, I packed my family up into a car after hearing about Rolf Jensen and headed out west to find him, and did so after a short period of time, and has wound up, has his entire archive, continued his research. And I said, well, cool, you're just the guy I'm looking for to answer these questions. So I started rifling them off. And he answered them generously. And what I learned is that he first ran into William Rand when he was teaching at the Spiritual Frontiers Fellowship or something like that, at some university up north, I think it was in Michigan. And I was wondering about all of this. And so he says, well, he received stuff from all over the country, and it was his idle speculation that contained in here, and this is a very weird book. I mean, if you pick this up and read through, this is odd. This is the height of oddity. Yeah. I mean, there is stuff in here on like chemistry and electron spins. And, I mean, the guy's writing from his doctorate, And there's also interesting things in here, like, let's see if I can find it real quick. Like this page here, which is a real telling one for me. And what you have here is the Tibetan daikuyo symbol, as used by William Rand, spelled out for its original use by Arthur Robertson. And what Arthur Robertson used it as, and this is a Sanskrit symbol. He found this in the Sanskrit dictionary. I mean, its name starts with an A. I've got it written down somewhere. And it stands for fire or some kind of fiery something. But that wasn't where its real interest lied for me. The interest lied for me in the fact that here was the symbol taken, from what was used essentially as a relaxation and energy stimulator type thing, sort of in line with the Taoist tradition, to be used on the back of the shoulder blades, and spun into a new system of Reiki as its master symbol. I thought that was fascinating, and so did Robertson. And so when he was teaching at this Spiritual Frontiers Fellowship thing, evidently they'd let a Reiki master teach for 2 years. So he switched off with the lady who introduced me to Reiki, a lady named Jeannie Greening, who winds up being like this really well. I had no idea when I took the class from her. I just thought she was really cool. She could talk about Kabbalah. Anything I wanted to bring up, she knew about it. It was awesome. And I didn't have a lot of that living in Peoria, Illinois at the time. So he winds up being the one that switches off every 2 years with Jeannie, right? And so these two are like the esteemed teachers of Reiki, it turns out, in the country, which is cool. So there's where the Usui-Tibetan master symbol comes from. Now, if you'll turn in your little paperback hymnal to the back page. Let's see. Let me find it real quick. Let's see where she put it. Oh, I bet it's hole punched in. Okay. In the back, into these two symbols. These two symbols are the symbols for the Usui-Tibetan system. Okay, these are the extra symbols above the 4 standard Usui symbols. Okay. Now this symbol, Daikomyo, is spelled exactly the same way that it's spelled in Arthur Robertson's book. Arthur Robertson calls it the Tibetan Daikomyo, and he has a disclaimer in that book that says, do not confuse this with the Usui master symbol, initially choice symbol Daikomyo, which he gave a different spelling. And this material predates Rand by quite a few years. So, it's pretty obvious where the origin of it was.
I've been initiated that symbol. It's called Dumo, D-U-M-O.
Wow, that's a new one to me. Dumo?
Yeah.
What's it for? Is it a master symbol?
Yeah, it's considered to be a Tibetan master symbol, but the way I was taught, it's called Dumo.
Well, that'll be a fun one to research.
I was told that Daikomyo was the 4th symbol that Barbara Robert got.
Barbara Reed charges $11,000.
Charges what?
The word serpent of fire.
Serpent of Fire also has its roots in the same place. One thing that you'll notice about these two symbols is that they're going to reappear in a lot of different forms throughout the course of our stuff today. Robertson's Daikomyo is a little different in that there's like less lines down this kind of swiggle center lightning bolt thing. I call what did I call it? I call this like the tornado or something like that when I refer to this something. Because that's kind of or the martini glass during the soda dish. And that we're going to get to another symbol in the Sai Baba stuff later. That's another one that just swears this symbol. But it has even more lines and it has a different name. So this symbol is out there in a lot of different forms. But our primary interest in this, at least in this phase of this class, involves it being the master symbol for the Usui-Tibetan system of natural healing. Now, does that in any way degrade or disqualify the Usui-Tibetan system? No, I don't think that it does at all. I think it's very interesting that I love this symbol a lot. I mean, I use it in every healing. I use it in every attunement. I think it's a pretty fantastic symbol. I don't know if it's just sort of slowly built itself up to be that, because the Usui-Tibetan system is so widely disseminated, or if it was originally that, and Art Robertson just happened to throw darts at a Sanskrit dictionary and pick out a kick-ass symbol, or how he came to choose this symbol. I mean, I never asked him that. I was more interested in tracing the history and, pulling my legal butt out of the fire at the time. So, on the advice of counsel. And which was fantastic. And so this shocked me. This completely shocked me because I never saw that coming. I found William to be a very nice guy, very knowledgeable guy, a guy who had done his own homework on a lot of the beginning stages of dissecting the history of Reiki, carrying it over, on spreading it widely across the country, on making it very affordable. You know, so this was a shocking thing for me to learn, to say the least. You know, I mean, I thought that I was just tracing its history back, and I was going to find that, you know, the origins of something similar to his attunement process. And you know, lo and behold, I really got kicked in the teeth by this one. I mean, the first time I hung up that phone, I was just wanting to assimilate it all.